Holy crap, that's such a hit.
So they released their top 10 offenses. Colorado's number 8.
This moment in sports history will be remembered as one of the better fights, man. Like,
Put the cherry on top, they played Austria today. Guess the score of that game? 32-25 to not medal the bronze.
Hello and welcome to episode 21 of Bros and the Bleachers podcast. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Make sure you like the video, comment, go to our Spotify, TikTok, all that good stuff, and Twitter as well. Jake, how we feeling today?
hey, I'm feeling great, baby. We're here for our Dion episode. Let's get it. I love it.
That's right.
That might be. Hopefully, that's the only time that we actually mention Dion the entire episode, and then we could just we knocked it out. We're good from there, you know.
Oh, you didn't want to talk about the Colorado game? I'm just kidding. There was no Colorado game, right? I don't know. But
Who
yes,
cares?
21 episode prime time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the college basketball preview that we did last week. If you haven't, go watch it right now. You're going to learn so much
Do
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Do it right now. So just Jake and I running the show today, and the bleachers hanging out. But let's go off our normal rundown. Okay, we got college football. Big college football games that happen. I'll hit us off with Ohio State going to Happy Valley and Penn State, number 3, and there's number 4. If you were an Ohio State fan in that first quarter, you were ready to get the torches and pitchforks ready for Will Howard. Am I right or am I wrong?
Oh, 1000%. I mean, this Penn State team they were coming after it in the first half, and they were really just kind of, again, doing what they normally do, which is playing great defense, and Will Howard kind of being the overrated quarterback that we've said that he is, really just kind of playing into that sphere. And honestly, to your point, I was scared. I was on PSU the entire time, but even with that first half lead, I was still white knuckling the couch, you know.
If you guys didn't see it, Penn State got an early drive, kicked a field goal, and then Will Howard underthrew a ball and just got undercut and got pick 6 by Penn State. And it was looking pretty bleak, but he ended up making it up. He threw a nice corner fade route into the corner of the end zone for Emeka Buka to score a touchdown. And then he also had a nice pitch fake in the second quarter to I think the tight end Brandon Innes. But yeah, overall, I think defense won the game, so to say. I don't think offense didn't win because that's not the Big
No.
Ten's MO, but I think defense overall won. I think it was a pretty good game by both teams.
Yeah, classic matchup. I think that these two teams, again, hard fought battle from both, but again, overall defense is winning championships. So that's what they say.
And then they add a little cherry on top. Drew Aller still sucks alert, even though he threw an interception. That wasn't his fault. Just the receiver was just as much of a bitch as he was to not catch the ball and get it stripped away. And that'll lead us to the hot Miami Sun, where Miami took on Duke at home. Yeah, Miami defense, really bad, but they somehow pulled it out with the win because Cam Ward just went absolute sicko mode.
Hey, like we said a couple of weeks ago, Miami is the new age Cincinnati Bengals. Like they can give up just a crap ton of points, but again, if Miami's able to score like the Lamborghini Ferrari offense, like we've been calling them all year, right? They're gonna win every game that they play, right? And again, I think when it comes to a Miami standpoint, Cam Ward is now leading every Heisman standing, and it really upsets me as a guy that has an Ashton Genty future. I will tell you that, but again, the guy is absolutely dying. He is actually making plays when, I feel like the term now of Mahomes-esque, right, is just getting thrown around because some guy changes an arm slot, right? The only thing that I'll say about Cam Ward is I love that the poise that he brings, and I feel like that's very Mahomes-esque, and his ability to be able to get inside of the guards and inside of the tackles and actually make a dynamic cut versus just always sprinting to the outside like, any kind of typical quarterback that's a little bit more athletic could do, right? So again, kudos to Cam Ward, kudos to Miami. Duke, again, a little bit of kudos to you too, but you kind of crumbled at the end a little bit there.
No, I'll definitely touch on Duke a little bit, but to your point, I like how you brought up the comparison for Cam Ward and Patrick Mahomes. I don't necessarily think he looks like Patrick Mahomes, and this is a compliment. Don't twist it, but I think he looks like Jameis Winston.
I
don't know.
don't hate that.
I think he looks like a Jameis Winston. He's not the fastest. Neither was Jameis in college. I think his pocket presence is insane. He has a cannon of an arm. He's a great passer. I mean, he threw 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. Had one pick. It wasn't a really great throw, but I think he has a little bit of a Jameis Winston in
Well, I
him.
was just gonna say, like that comparison to Jameis is great. He threw a pick, but
Yeah, right.
but no, that's actually a great comparison, especially because at the end of the day, we're now talking what 8, 9 weeks into the college football season, and this guy's like leading the Heisman conversation. Jameis won the Heisman, right? And again, very mobile quarterback, was able to take a lot of weapons that he had on that offensive team and be able to drive them to. Again, I don't want to just go out there. That was the national championship year for FSU, right? For Jameis.
2013, 2014 year.
Yeah, something like that. So again, Miami's kind of on that track right now where they're undefeated and they've got a lot of teams that they've still got to play. And there's a lot of playoff football that we haven't seen yet that I think everyone and their mother is excited for right now. So again, Cam Ward, kudos to the guys. And again, I'm big on Damian Martinez. I'm big on Restrepo. So they've just got a talented group, and that Ferrari Lamborghini offense just continues to show up.
It was a Ferrari Lamborghini offense, even though at one point it looked like could have lost that game because they were down by at least 2 scores, but they somehow powered it up and ruined Manny Diaz, who's the head coach for Duke, revenge game since he was former coach when they were at Miami's best like 6 years ago or so. But no, that's all I had for my college games. Jake, any games you want to speak on?
Yeah, the main game that I wanted to touch on is the Ole Miss at Arkansas game
Oh
because
God.
yeah, I will tell you. I first off, I want to apologize to you, Drew. I was blowing up your phone all weekend. Arkansas made me feel like an absolute fool. I don't know why.
Well,
Uh,
Jake, bring what you had from your text with me to the show right now. Bring the same
yeah,
energy.
no, it was one of those things where I was just shaking my fist at the sky and almost putting my fist through the wall at the same time because again, the 63-31 loss where one, I had Arkansas money line. I had Arkansas spread. I had Arkansas teased, and I just looked like an absolute fool. And I should have seen the writing on the wall, and maybe other people did. I don't know what it was, but Ole Miss has the second best in offensive yards per game in the country, only behind Miami, who we just talked about. And Ole Miss, shockingly enough, I didn't realize this. Obviously, we knew that they were going to be, again, in that tier of maybe not Lamborghini, Ferrari, maybe let's call it like, Porsche. There's something right there. But we knew that they were going to be a great offense. Their defense is great. They're the 27th best when it comes to defensive yards per game in the country. So I did not know that going in. And then when you look at Arkansas on the other side of the ball, the main reason why I was high on them is that they're the seventh best in offensive yards per game in the country. So I'm sitting there, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we've got a maybe mid off, Ole Miss defense and two great offenses. Maybe it's going to be an easy kind of shoot them out. I thought the teaser was free. Long story short is that Arkansas is the 93rd best defense when it comes to offensive yards allowed per game in the country. And Ole Miss just ran and they had historic numbers too.
Apparently, Ole Miss football takes national lead in sacks.
I did not know that, but again, 27th best in when it comes to deep or offensive yards per game allowed. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, they did. I mean, the Ole Miss team has had a little bit shaky. They had a loss against a terrible Kentucky team and then an LSU team. And then next week, they go to, no, they're at home, excuse me. They play Georgia.
Yep.
So I don't know what to think of that game because
Well,
Carson
Drew,
Beck stinks after he almost lost to UF, who was absolutely decimated in injuries. So I don't know. It's a coin flip of a game.
well, here you go. I got two projections for you, buddy. First one, Ole Miss goes 3-0 to finish out the season.
Oh, I love that.
Win at Georgia, or I'm sorry, win at home versus Georgia, win at Florida, and then win against Mississippi State. Again, I think it's game over, or I'm sorry, Michigan State at home. And I
No,
think
you
that it's
had
going to,
Mississippi State, right?
oh, it is. Yeah, yeah,
The Egg
Mississippi
Bowl.
State. Yeah, you're right. The Egg Bowl at home to finish out the season. And this Ole Miss team is unreal. I mean, obviously, in this game, we saw some insane stat lines just because 63 points, whenever you put it up, is going to look nuts. Jackson Dart, 25 of 31, 515 yards and 6 passing touchdowns,
Yeah.
was pulled before the fourth quarter. And then Jordan Watkins, who, again, maybe he wasn't on my highest of radars just because you and I both know that I love Ja'Cory Brooks. But Jordan Watkins had 8 catches for 254 yards and 4 touchdowns. He caught 3 touchdowns that were over 60 yards, and he was pulled after or beginning of the fourth quarter. So we just saw some insane stuff. And the crazy thing about this game, in my opinion, again, I'm sitting here trying to make any case for Arkansas that I can after watching that game. But Arkansas only had 7 incompletions throughout the game, and they did bring in a second quarterback at some point. Their starter did get hurt. But again, the writing was on the wall here, and I just got absolutely caught. I think that Arkansas finishes 1-2 to finish the year. They're going to get absolutely train tracked by Texas. You put out Quinn Ewers, put out Arch Manning,
Right.
put out the ghost of Sam Ellinger, whoever it is. They're going to end up
We're back.
right. Yeah, they're going to end up winning that game. I think that they beat La Tech, Louisiana Tech in that sense, where again they're just not a very good team, and maybe they get like one morale win, and that offense is supposed to show up. But then, right, yay. But then Mizzou, again, I don't know. I wasn't big on Mizzou, but now I'm kind of on Mizzou. But the fact that I was on Arkansas and now Arkansas is in the shitter, give me Mizzou to win that game. They go 1-2 to finish the year. Arkansas disappointing.
Yeah, I do want to get to your other games. We don't want to talk too much about Ole Miss and Arkansas if there's
True.
any Rebel or Hog fans out there. But no, this SEC division, who the two teams are going to play in the conference championship game, is looking actually pretty wild. If Ole Miss beats Georgia, they'll be have two conference losses total, and then Tennessee, Texas only have one conference loss, as well as Georgia. But so it's going to be interesting if Ole Miss can make that push.
Dogfight.
If they beat Georgia, that's enormous. Texas might look to win out, and then Tennessee could also. Oh, Tennessee still has to play Georgia too. So
Georgia's got
Georgia,
some big opponents coming up.
yeah, yeah. So we could have what is a Alabama list and Georgia list SEC championship for like God knows how long that's
Right.
been.
Yeah, the
Um,
CFP is definitely going to be unprecedented now with the 12 teams. But some of the other games that I had on the docket, Texas A&M at South Carolina. South Carolina, chef's kiss, baby. Way to get it done. You know what I mean?
thank God.
Yeah, it was great. But South Carolina's legit, man. I mean, Lenore Sellers, he was 13 to 27, 244 passing yards, 2 touchdowns with 15 carries, 106 yards, and 1 touchdown. Again, wasn't necessarily a great passing game, but South Carolina kind of proved themselves to be one of those three-tiered kind of teams where, again, they were able to really play a great defensive game. And frankly, I think South Carolina is someone we got to kind of keep a little bit more stock watch on, Drew.
No, I agree. Shane Beamer, I believe, son of damn, what was the Frank Beamer? I could be totally wrong with that. Virginia Tech, famous coach, but no, South Carolina is just so they're just that team that looks to stir up chaos. They're the chaos team in the SEC. Never know when they're going to come out of nowhere and just absolutely ruin any hopes and chances of you making a push. Like the Bama game, they had Texas A&M they just beat, so they're sneaky.
And to that sneakiness, to your point, I think that they might finish 3-1 to finish the year, man. They could be a team where again they might not go conferencing or playoffing, but like big bowl game
We'll
watch,
go
like
bowling.
yeah, they will 100% go bowling. But again, they play at Vandy, which I think that they might get a really kind of good momentum win there, which puts them into a fun conversation. I think they might even beat Mizzou, which is the next week.
I hope
Uh,
so.
and then they play Wofford, which should be a cupcake. And then I think that Clemson maybe gets them a little bit towards the end of the year, just as like a big brother kind of like elbow to them. But again, I think that South
Elbow.
Carolina, South Carolina's legit. Texas A&M, where are we, man? Like, what are we doing?
I was pretty worried because we just like stunk on Texas A&M for the longest time on the show, and it was looking pretty bad. But yeah, that was a huge win for our sanctity for our
Exactly.
takes.
There we go, man. I will tell you the one guy that I've been watching a little bit more just because I've been seeing him towards the top of all of the NFL mock drafts is Nick Scoutron. 6'4", 280-pound defensive end out of Texas A&M. He is unreal, man. He didn't have a great game in this game because again, they kind of got stomped. But he reminds me of a Myles Garrett type where like he just throws his arms in there. He's quick. He might be the first defensive guy off the board when it comes to the NFL draft this year. So keep your eyes out. And I do mean that including Travis Hunter. So again, keep your eyes out.
Okay, okay, interesting. I will definitely have to keep a lookout. Maybe when we do in the future NFL draft stock show. So who knows? But any other games you want to touch on before we move on?
Yeah, I'll touch on a couple of them quick. Louisville at Clemson. I mean, again, we've talked about Ja'Cory Brooks. We've talked about this Louisville team, just chef's kiss. I will tell you that my guy didn't have a great game. He only had 4 catches for 42 yards. But the main guy that we need to talk about, exactly, the main guy we need to talk about. We talk about a lot of guys on offense. We talk about a lot of guys on defense as of recent. The guys that we don't talk about are the guys on special teams. And I want to talk about Brock Travelstead, the kicker from Louisville, because he went 4 for 4 on his field goals, one from 24, 40, 42, and 29 yards. That is 12 points, Drew, if I do my math correctly. And guess what, Drew? Louisville won 33-21. So special teams can sometimes be the difference. And when you've got a team that can be dynamic on all 3 sides of the ball, it changes games. And Clemson, you have a plan until you get punched in the mouth. Figure it out. ACC is up for grabs, brother.
Looking at the stats, he was 4 from 5, but not to poke a pin. But it's
four,
still they
four or
still
five. Wait,
still huge.
12 points. 12 points.
Good for a college kicker. No, finally, Clemson got knocked off their streak after having that terrible loss against Georgia in the beginning of the season, and they strung like some pretty good wins against some, I maybe not so great teams, if we're being honest.
No.
I mean, I was wrong about the NC State game. They crushed them, but no, I did have Louisville being a tough game, and then they'll have to play at Virginia Tech and then at Pittsburgh, who had a crushing loss this weekend. But Pittsburgh's no slouch, and then obviously the rivalry of South Carolina.
Yeah, the ACC is definitely going to be a little bit tough too. Again, obviously it looks like Miami is going to be towards the top, but again, SMU is fighting, Clemson's up there. It's going to be a fun little dogfight there. The only other games I really wanted to touch on, Drew, again, I feel like unfortunately, it was just kind of a salute to our school, if you will. This Arizona versus Central Florida game, man. Yeah, that's not fun. Not fun. 56-12. It's pouring rain, 5 rushing yards the entire game. What are you feeling?
There's nothing to be excited about. I mean, I hate saying Matt's right, but we're not going to make a bowl game if this keeps up. It's just pathetic. It just seems every week before at halftime we're down 2 touchdowns or more. It's the same shit. I would be curious to know what Brett Brennan said at his press conference. Do you have any idea?
I don't. Honestly, I don't know if he was still wearing a lei or not with how much it was pouring rain. I will tell you that. But
dude, the lace looks so bad on the sideline, getting your face absolutely smashed in. They look so bad.
Yeah, and again, listen, kudos to at least like playing into it, but frankly, we just got our teeth kicked in, and the Space Force uniforms, we should have known. It was always UCF.
Oh yeah, it was the
drop.
space game.
Yeah. But anyways, last thing is Indiana at Michigan State. My biggest thing is that Kirk Cincinnati is the new Nick Saban. He is like upset when they're up by 30 points and whatnot. Indiana, train roll yourselves into the CFP, man. I love it.
Dude, no, we need that. We need that like fire energy to replace Saban. If somebody's got to do it, somebody's got to step up because Kalen DeBoer certainly isn't going to do that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
But no, Indiana 9-0. First ever in program history, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Because 7-0, yeah. They have a huge game against Michigan next week at home. And then they have the bye, and then Ohio State. They might have to play Ohio State in Columbus, maybe ranked number 2 or number 1. That's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's going to be an insane game, but I would be worried about a big spread in that game. Again, I'm going to be looking at Indiana the entire time. If you find it anything above 10 points, I mean, find me on Indiana, no doubt.
I'm going to timestamp this. My guess for that game, hopefully they don't freaking lose to Michigan and that gets screwed up. I'm going to say 17.5 underdog.
All right.
That's my prediction.
I like it.
Whether it's wrong, I don't know, but it's probably
right.
I'm not an expert.
Hey, we'll rock and roll. We'll figure it out.
Absolutely. But that'll wrap up the college football games of the week, and that'll wrap up, go us into bell cow of the week. Now, what is a bell cow? That's 20 carries, over 100 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown. Yeah, watch your man, bell cow savage. Yeah, let me give you my bell cow of the week. Out of University of Baylor, Bryson Washington, 6 foot, 203 pounds freshman. Oh yeah, young and coming out of Baylor with Texas. Get that young man 26 carries on the ground. Oh, yeah. 196 yards. Yeah. Can I? I don't have 1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. Step into ascension. 40-yard touchdown ticket to the house. He's like a bear on a unicycle shuffling those feet, baby. Oh, yeah.
Let's go, Drew. I love it. I love it. Hey, and I hope to come with at least a quarter of that energy right here, because typically I'm here with a Service Academy quarterback, and I'm glad to say I'm here with a Service Academy running back, baby. Kanye Udo, 6 foot, 215, sophomore out of Army, 22 carries, 158 yards, 2 touchdowns. Bryson Daly's out. Guess what? Kanye steps in. Only 2 touchdowns in the game. Kanye's 12-yard and a 25-yard, both in the second half. And Army's now on 8-0 on the year, and it's not because of Kanye. It is not because of Bryson Daly in this game. It is Kanye Udo. You're my bell cow, baby. Way to get it done.
Kanye Udo, finally a Service Academy running back. Oh, yeah.
We make it happen. We make it happen. Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, yeah, Bell Cow of the Week. And that'll wrap up Bell Cow of the Week. And now we go to Thanksgiving time. Halloween spooky season's over. Sad.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Hopefully you had some good candy, but time for some corn, some cranberries, mashed potatoes, and our main dish, turkey, baby. Who gobbled and choked this week? Let me give you my turkey of the week. Iowa State Cyclones, which I'm upset. This is a sad turkey I gotta have at the Thanksgiving dinner table. As a 14-point favorite, they lose to Texas Tech with 23 seconds left to win the game. Texas Tech scores a touchdown. Iowa State had an 87% chance to win that game. Blew it with 1 minute and 23 seconds left in the game. Iowa State Cyclones, you are my turkey of the week.
Gobble, gobble, gobble. Let me tell you, that was an overcooked turkey, and you knew that it was
Very
overcooked.
dry.
Yeah, as you were cooking it, you knew that you were going to be fucking it up. It was Iowa State turkey energy. I'm with you there. People that equally needed to be in the turkey energy, and guess what? They were already in the pumpkin energy too. So you might as well bring up the turkey season, because the New Orleans Saints, you're back in Turkey Town. The Panthers. You lost to the Panthers. And again, we understand that it's a close game, but again, since their downfall, which I called after they lost to my beloved Cowboys, they have been outscored 200 to 116. They've had 7 straight losses, and we know that you're hurt. But again, gobble, 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 brother. You're a turkey.
Damn, what does that say about the Cowboys? Sorry. Yeah, Derek Carr's back.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, Derek Carr's back. Derek Carr gobbled his way to a nice dry Thanksgiving turkey. Gritty, sandy, not a good turkey, Derek Carr.
Not it. Not it.
But hey, that'll lead us into NFL play. NFL play, finally, NFL. Let's start off with Thursday night, Jake. We go to the Meadowlands, where the New York Jets take on the Texans on Halloween night. And the Jets needed a much-needed win against the Texans, who were very depleted.
Dude, I thought Texans were like spread, money line, everything was free in that game. And again, got my soul ripped out. I will tell you that the Stephon Diggs injury, I feel like it means a lot to this Texans team now. And again, the Jets really show up when there's a momentum piece to it. I don't know why it takes some sort of momentum piece for them to be able to show up and actually show out. But again, Texans, I could be on fraud watch, bro. I mean, like it's at a situation where I thought. But
are they a fraud with all these injuries, though? Is that fair to say?
I'm with you, but at the same time, I feel like, again, you can't have your team be built to have 5 wide receivers and 3 tight ends and 6 running backs and all of these like huge depths. Like, you can't expect everybody to be able to jump in and go. Texans, you got to figure it the hell out, man. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. The Jets, they had a plan the entire time, and it was, we're going to claw back and win every game that we play. Like, they know it, right? And the Texans, their plan was, we're going to beat you by 21 points in the first half, and hopefully we can hold on to that lead. And when that doesn't happen and you can't back that up, whose fault is that, right?
I gotta say, after Tank Dell, there's really no Robert Woods, who was good back in the day, but is now decrepit. Fair to say. Dalton Schultz. I'm so Jake. What happened? I thought this guy was decent on the Cowboys, and he comes to the Texans, and he's just
He
kind of
got
non.
hurt. He got
Did
hurt at
he?
one point, so I don't know. Again,
Okay.
I'm not going to go ahead and say that one injury rehab is better than the other, but
And
I
then
just haven't seen it.
before we get to the Jets, John Mechie the third. Remember him at Alabama?
Yeah,
What happened to this guy? I thought this guy was supposed to be absolutely sick. He just hasn't shown up at all. Guy hasn't played any games for them.
couldn't tell you, man. Sometimes it's just one of those things where, again, you got to have that maturity to be able to step up and jump into an NFL roster, even though you go to a big school like Alabama.
Yeah.
It's a huge jump.
But let's go to the Jets. Let's show the Jets some love because they sure need it. Garrett Wilson probably had catch of the year.
Yeah, that was insane. The jump
Insane.
man thing. Yeah, I mean I don't know if you saw all the press conference stuff about Devontae Adams saying like he needs to come join me with jump man, and then Adidas put out a press release that responded. He's like he can jump, man, but he's with us. Like
That's so
he's like
corny.
yeah, but no, I mean like but that's the way that you should play into it, right? When a guy has a game like that, he's going instant viral. Like again, kudos to the brands for playing off each other, and kudos to Devontae for poking the bear a little bit. I like it.
No, I feel like this was finally what the Aaron Rodgers to Garrett Wilson connection was like finally what it should have been. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers had some pretty bad throws, but he had 200 yards, three touchdowns, pretty good. They got the win. Uh, they just need to carry that momentum on to next week because they are going to play the Cardinals in Arizona. So
There you go.
very much needed win. Even though the Cardinals are looking, did they cover Jake?
I don't know. I haven't checked.
Okay, we'll get there soon. Okay, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Denver Broncos. They win 41-10 against Denver. I didn't know Denver was 5-3. That kind of snuck up out of nowhere for me. I don't know
Right.
about you, but
Denver's
no.
weird, man. I don't know why. Like Denver again, they got shelled. But at the same time, like Denver's a weird team that I kind of like watching, and it's like
Oh,
a
come on. You were shitting on Bo Nix like for the
I
past eight
know, I
weeks.
dude, I know, but like again, it's maybe it's just this whole like I'm a Cortland Sutton fantasy owner, and I saw the whole passing touchdown thing today, and then again, he actually got involved in an offense versus a defense that
Yeah.
I like to think is top 15 in the league at least, if not better, in the Ravens, right? So again, Baltimore, they got shelled, but Baltimore just keeps rolling, and again, if they can continue to just run the formula of you have Derrick Henry and you have other ancillary parts around Derrick Henry versus what the Titans had, whereas you just have Derrick Henry, right?
Right.
So just keep doing it.
No, that Ravens trident of Lamar, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers absolutely spearing opponents. Definitely a much needed win after they lost to the Cleveland last week, which was disgusting for them. But no, they get back on track, blow out Denver 41-10. Probably more things to come from Baltimore as a Super Bowl favorite. I'm sure that everybody has when they go to play Cincinnati next week on Thursday. So short week. So let's see how that turns out.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ah.
Might be another get back game for the Bengals. But let's go on to what Jake touched earlier. The Carolina Panthers somehow beat the New Orleans Saints 23-22. Insanity.
Insanity, man. I again watching that game, not even having it purely on in the background, just on like a red zone perspective. The biggest thing is I don't understand why the Saints they had a huge game from Kamara, and again, it just didn't really feel like it was that big of a game. Maybe that was me and just watching intermittently. Like he had a couple of burst plays, but again, it just this New Orleans team sucks.
Yeah, they suck. Dennis Allen sucks. Bryce Young gets us what gets a win, adds another win to his column. I don't know what win it is because I should
I
know
was
because
gonna,
there's not that many.
yeah. I mean, frankly, it's got to be inside of 5, 10.
I would probably say
Definitely
four,
10. Yeah, right.
less
It's got
than
to be about
four.
right.
But no, huge win for the Panthers, even though I'm sure you guys are trying to tank. Not sure what you're doing there. But hey, back to my take. The NFC South is definitely still the most fun division. You still get crappy games like this and it's still kind of fun.
It
Uh,
was a great game. I mean, listen, one of those games where again you're sitting there and you're watching until the end. So
right,
kudos to the NFC South, not to either of these teams, but kudos to the division.
right. And we move on to a stink fest, a stink off, and the Tennessee Titans beat the New England Patriots in overtime, 20-17, after getting an interception to seal the game against Drake May.
Yeah, but as much as you talk about the interception to seal the game, did you see the play that Drake May made to keep the game alive?
I did not, but I think it was a play
Oh,
action to like
you
underneath.
you you need to do yourself a favor and find that clip because that is a hell of a play. But again, Drake May basically with seconds left was escaping tackles as he's
To
falling
Ramondre,
down.
right?
Yeah, throws it across his body to Ramondre. And again, in that kind of a situation for a rookie to be able to make that throw, again, against a defense who you like to think is relatively solid in Tennessee, at least they've shown it kind of by the numbers. Hell of a play. Kudos to Drake May, but rookie syndrome is 100% real, and you just threw an absolute dot to the other team
Yeah,
to end
but
the game.
to be fair, he has no offensive line protecting him, so the Patriots will probably look to add to that going into next year. But I'm sure Patriots fans are like, oh, dude, this is so great. We got a quarterback. This is great, and
Right.
then heart ripped out.
Dude, hey, well, we're not going to talk about New England too much, so I'll talk about it now. I'm not here to support Drake May. I just want to put that out there. But when it comes to at least his athletic ability, dude, I mean, he's sneaky athletic. I was kind of surprised by it. He's got a little bit of a burst.
It's what you get with UNC quarterbacks. They show you
Yeah,
some athleticism, and they tend to stink
right.
in the
He's got a
NFL.
little burst. I don't know.
Yeah,
Me and all the
uh,
scouts are saying it.
right. Watch out for Jake Snyder Scout. Here we go. Damn it, San Diego. Los Angeles Chargers beat the Cleveland Browns 27-10. Much needed win for the Chargers. Sad loss for the Browns. What do you do if you're the Browns? Like, what do you do at this point? Just tank? Like,
I mean, listen, I guarantee you that there's some sort of dispute on what to do. And that's why every fan and every fan of the NFL, whether you're a fan of Cleveland Browns or not, feels this way, right? Because I guarantee you there's fans like you and I of the NFL that are just like, this is not great for football, whereas you're fans of the team and you're like, you should tank. Right. If I'm a fan of the Browns, that's what I'm hoping for at this point. Right. And again, if you can't put out this guy in Deshaun Watson, who again, hope that recovery goes well and everything in between. Right. But that was a lot of the media distraction to that team. And now you're in a position where you've got almost the polar opposite, right? You've got a guy that's beloved in the media in Jameis Winston, right? And again, Jameis Winston is Jameis Winston. Like I love
this was a
watching.
Jameis Winston game. Three
Yeah, like
picks.
right. Like I love watching the dude play, but I don't necessarily love having him as my quarterback while I'm watching him play, right? Like he's gonna make dynamic plays, but he is gonna make Jameis Winston-esque plays. And again, I feel like the Chargers defense is a better defense in the league. Their offense does have that little bit of dynamic ability. One point I did want to make on the Chargers real quick. I'm just putting it out there. Lad McConkey gives me Cooper Cup vibes, and it's not just because they're white slot receivers. It's because that they actually like make similar s plays, in my opinion. I think that we should be on a little bit of stock watch there potentially.
No, I totally agree. Some head coach, I forgot who it was, said Lad McConkey reminds him of Steve Smith from the Panthers.
Nice.
Uh, whether that comparison is valid, it might be. I mean, let's see how tall he is. He's 6 foot, so he's a little bit taller than Steve. But I guess as far as his route running goes, I mean, no, he's solid.
Oh
Very
yeah.
good pick by the Chargers. But yeah, I don't think we need to talk too much about that game. But we'll go on to the Charm City in Cincinnati, where the Bengals defeat the Las Vegas Raiders 41-24. A much needed win for the Bengals against a really not so great team in the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah, I will tell you the one bet that I knew that was free and I had it straight up today was a Chase Brown anytime touchdown because I knew that
Dude,
Zach
he went
Moss was going to be
off.
out. Yeah, Buddy went off, right? And again, I probably should have put a little bit more stock into just the anytime touchdown. But Cincinnati trains. And again, if they're able to show up in any month really outside of October, I think is what we've learned, right? What is it? September and October are the two bad months for them, right? Like whatever it
Yeah,
ends up being, they're able to turn it on. And their defense, frankly, if they're able to play semi-coherent and their offense is able to play well,
yeah.
uh, I don't know. Cincinnati still got to have some stock in them. They are a little bit banged up still, so got to see how that plays out for the next couple of weeks. It's still going to be a competitive division for sure up there.
Their next three games aren't easy either. They have to play at Baltimore, then they have to
Right.
go across the country to Los Angeles Chargers, which is again another good defense. They have a bye, and then they play Pittsburgh at home, which is again another good defense.
Right. So it's going to be a tough battle for them. Again, I think that Cincinnati definitely has a shot to be able to still be in this wild card conversation, if not win the division conversation if shit gets really real, right? But again, they can turn up at any time. So I'm still on Cincinnati watch. Raiders, man. Tough. Tough, 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 tough.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to touch much on the Raiders other than Jacoby Myers stock and Brock Bowers caught a touchdown.
There you
But
go.
Bengals are riding on that wave of the Macaulay Culkin dressed up as Joe Burrow for Halloween energy. So 1 and
Oh, that was
0,
so good too. Oh, so good.
right? Um,
Class.
and then we go on to Buffalo, where the Buffalo Bills defeat the Miami Dolphins 30-27 on a Tyler Bass 61 field goal. Utterly insane.
Yeah, again, but a classic game between these two teams, right? Like, again, you see these two teams just absolute dogfight to each other. I thought that the Bills were at one point, it looked like they were just going to run away with it, but
Yeah.
Miami does have, that opportunability sometimes to be able to just kind of jump into a situation and really run with it. Achan looked unreal, right? The one stat that I saw, at least from a fantasy perspective, because I'm playing a guy, Jalen Waddle had 2 receptions for negative 4 yards and a touchdown, which does not make sense. But again, kudos. But all day I had James Cook to get an anytime touchdown, and your boy Jake got cooked on James Cook. So it was big on Buffalo the entire time. I definitely was had him at a little bit of a higher spread than 2.5. I thought they were going to walk out probably around a touchdown or so up, but frankly, Buffalo fans should not be upset by this win at all. It should definitely be a fist bump and walk on to the next week.
Yeah, no, it was looking a little bit shaky for a little bit. They were down 10-3 in the second quarter, and the refs were playing against the Bills a little bit for some point, and then Keon Coleman had a terrible drop, kind of went between the football went there, and then Jalen Ramsey intercepted it, but very much needed win for the Bills. And again, the Dolphins, not sure what you play for, and I don't think you really want a pick in like the 15th, the 20th pick, or not even
Right.
20th. That 15th range where it's kind of in no man's land as far as who you want to take for elite talent. But no, I'm not sure what the Dolphins do. And I'll get it out of the way for you, Jake. The Cowboys stroll into Atlanta, lose 27-21. Thoughts on the game?
I changed the jersey in the background. Shit, I do this every time. I changed the jersey in the background. That's why. I
We'll
mean,
get to that
it's
later,
sad.
but
Yeah, yeah,
go.
yeah. No, that's why I did. But it's sad, man. I mean, this team just is hurt. CD's hurt. Dak walked out of there hurt. I'm sorry, CD walked out of that game hurt. Dak walked out of that game hurt. Micah is already hurt. Demarcus Lawrence is hurt. Zeke had a disciplinary issue. Like they're just writing on the wall that either Mike McCarthy's getting fired or something larger than that is going to happen. And I'm not saying it's going to happen like now, but it could happen as of like the next 24 hours. It could happen in the next week. It could happen at the end of the season. Like I think at some point, Mike McCarthy might need to be the scapegoat and get out because Jerry's just not going to take accountability for himself. And I'm
No.
sitting. Right, of course. And his family, I think that they're trying to sway him in a way, but we don't need to get too deep into the lore on that. I think the biggest thing is that I knew from a perspective of Atlanta that they were going to train roll our defense. But the fact that our secondary and is starting to get a little bit, healthier, a little bit more repaired in that regard, just isn't making a simple arm tackle. Like they're just trying to run into a guy and just trying to check him in. And that's not the way that Dallas can play football because every time when we do that, we're giving up an extra 3 to 4 yards. And right now, we don't have those big guys like Demarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons that are able to really sack up the edge. So running backs are able to just have a pretty solid day. Bijan ate against us, and it was because he was able to play that perfect ability, kind of like Alvin Kamara did in week 2, where Cowboys just got absolutely eaten against a guy that can not only run, but that can also get that receiving ability too.
Do you have an idea if Micah Parsons or Demarcus Lawrence are coming to return at any point during the season? Any idea?
I mean, I think that all reports are that they're going to return at some point during the season. I think the better question is how healthy are they going to be and when, right? Like, I don't want either of those guys returning soon when it comes to playing at 60 or 70% ability. Like I want them playing at 100% and I want them not feeling like they've got to test shit out while they're doing it. Right. So again, I feel like we just talked about three different teams in a row where they're talking about like tanking and whatnot. It sucks that the Cowboys are even in a position where we're talking about, oh, don't win games, don't do this, don't do that. Like we're trying to go out and be competitive, and the score says that 21 to 27. Oh, like this is a competitive game. No, this was last minute heroics that make the score look not too bad, so Jerry can sleep tonight. You know what I mean? So again, I'm not all out on it, but damn it, like I said, Jersey changed.
Yeah, no. Next week, when Josh returns, your sanity might not be in a good place because you play the Eagles and
I'll be camera
Dallas.
off.
Yeah, not sure how that game might go. But any more closing thoughts?
Nope. Next one.
I didn't get to watch this game too much, but yeah, Falcons look not too bad.
Run away.
Uh, and that'll lead me to my game. Where the Washington Commanders stroll into New York City to take on the New York Football Giants. They win 27-22. Absolute huge win. I'm going back. I watched the podcast from about September 30th when we posted it. My take of going like 5-1, not looking pretty good, looking pretty good. So
Hey, all right. Hey, look at you cooking. I will tell you, you saying a huge win. It's still the Giants, brother. Take it.
hey,
Take.
sweep the Giants out the stadium. Oh,
Hey,
sweep them
I
out.
love it. Hey, if anything, you guys were the infamous group that now gets to be known as the group that broke the stat for Daniel Jones. Apparently, every broadcaster in America is bringing up this stat up until today, where this was the first offensive touchdown that Daniel Jones was responsible for in over 670 days because of how many just
You
absolute.
could have told because he absolutely stiff armed the hell out of Mikey Sandstrill.
Oh yeah.
So,
Well,
so
no,
his
so the one that broke it was the little fade pass like touchdown that he
oh,
had, and
that one, that's right.
that one was kind of like, oh, is he a quarterback? And then the second one where he like ends up going in and he rushes in is like, is he a good quarterback? And then you see it till the end, and then it's like, he can't win the game. That was funny though. So again, I I think that for me again, you should definitely hang your head, hang your heads high when it comes to those types of games. Again, winning a division matchup. I love the stat line of Terry McLaurin: 2 catches, 19 yards, two
Huge.
touchdowns. Chef's kiss. Fantasy owners, again, sing your rejoices. That is a beautiful one. We love that.
No, I mean, I watched the game. I did take a nap in the third quarter. But no, this game was looking pretty worrisome for them because the Giants were running all over that Washington defense. I was like, what are we doing? I didn't know what to think, but no, Jaden Daniels and crew scored some good touchdowns. Finally had some red zone competency against not like I mean the Giants defense is kind of competent at some times, but obviously I'm not saying they're anything great. But that was a pretty big win. We did play a little bit down to them, kind of let them almost come back towards the end, but then we just slammed that door right in their face and gave them the sweep for the season. So gotta put a feather in the cap for the old commies. So huge
Way to
win.
get it done.
And then also touched on Bears fans. Absolute sick Hail Mary. You think I was gonna bring that up since I got to miss out on that last week, not talking about it?
Tough. Sucks.
If only you saw me during that game because I was screaming.
Oh yeah.
But we will go on to the afternoon slate games. I'll just get out of the way, Jake. The Cardinals beat the Bears 29-9.
Yeah, I know.
You
I
wanna
know.
you wanna shed some light on that?
I mean, yeah, I'm sitting here just trying to rationalize how the Cardinals don't score towards the end of the game. I had a live over at 30 and a half. And again, all signs are pointing towards them being able to score. When the Bears did give up a safety, they did their version of what I guess we could call an onside punt, which basically allows the Cardinals to catch the ball at wherever it lands. And they landed at the 30-yard line. And this is when they have 29 points. They run 3 plays, they get down to 4th and 1. And you can only assume that they're going to kick it then because they don't want to, add on to the mollywhopping that the game already is. But then they decide to run the ball at 4th and 1, and eventually they fumble the ball because they have their third string running back in taking that kind of a play. But I digress. It's one of those heartbreaking losses when it comes to a gambling perspective. But Cardinals fans, hold your head high. That Chicago defense, everyone is saying that they're legit, and you just absolutely poured the highest season total on them, brother. So way to get it done. And in like the rain and hail, even though they have the retractable roof, that was kind of cool.
Oh, I did see that hail was coming down, and that the roof was going like
Yep.
any day now. But no, absolutely huge win for what I personally thought the Cardinals were done for the year after they lost to Green Bay, and they've strung together 3 wins in a row. Um,
True.
and they played the Jets next week, so like I mentioned earlier, so that'll be a huge win. But the Bears, this Cardinal defense, they another get right for them. They had 6 sacks. Caleb Williams went down 6 times in that game. Tyreek Stevenson got benched after he was an absolute dum-dum, being a little schmuck, and then got his comeuppance. The Bears defense let up 29 points, and that locker room, after he got benched, the locker room didn't like that, and they're not going to like it having to fly back home to Chicago on the plane.
Yeah, no doubt. I will tell you that at least with Caleb Williams, it seems like he's going to have those games where he just absolutely gets sacked left, right, and center just because of how mobile he tries to be, right? And again, he does have that dynamic ability, but against a defense that's able to really swallow that pocket hole, and if the Bears' offensive line isn't able to show up, kiss it goodbye, man. You're losing games easy.
Yeah. And I'm to say there's, I mean, from going to last week when Bears fans were ready to absolute, not saying all Bears fans, but online it's like, oh, Caleb Williams is so much better than Janie Daniels. For those Bears fans, suck it. He sucks. Caleb Williams sucks. Janie Daniels is better. Watch out. So far this season. But no, it's just, yeah, for the Bears, I don't know what you got to do to somewhat save the season, because you're last in the NFC North from what you
Right.
guys thought were gonna be. Hey, we might make the playoffs. Not looking too great, but you have a chance to get back against New England at home in Chicago, and then oh, you have your big strand of in division rivals with Green Bay, Minnesota, Detroit, San Francisco, Minnesota, Detroit, Seattle, Green Bay. So
Yep.
yeah, that's not gonna look too good for them. But we're gonna go on and move to not not currently here, but resident Philadelphia fan Josh on the show. The Eagles beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 28-23. The Eagles almost let the Jags come in. Obviously, there were some bad bad points that the Jaguars got that shouldn't have gotten, but Eagles
Yeah.
come out with the win.
No, the Eagles come out with a win, and they arguably come out with one of the coolest NFL highlights I think that we've ever seen with Saquon Barkley, this backwards hurdle, whatever the hell it was, right? So again, Saquon Barkley and Kelly Green, I think every Eagles fan was really looking for. It really hates me as a Cowboys fan to say that exact sentence, but I feel like I had to say it for Josh, so you're welcome. But at the end of the day, this was the Saquon Barkley game that every fan wanted. And I think that for the Jags, the cool part about them is that for as much as they are absolutely terrible, there are times where they can just absolutely jolt into a lead, right? Like we've seen it season over season now. Like immediately my head goes to that Chargers game where they lost 33-33 or 33 to
Yeah.
30 when they came back and charged up, right? So again, this Jacksonville team is a little bit scary. They're absolutely shaky. But I think that again, for the Eagles fans, you know, maybe it's a Sirianni thing. I'm not fully on that piece in the sense you're winning games, right? Like there's opportunities where if you're not looking great while you're doing it, which is kind of what it's looking like now, maybe run for the hills a little bit. But again, you win this game. There's definitely things that you should address in practice, but put your hard hat on, head into the next week.
No, they had, I mean, to be fair, I mean, not like the Washingtons played any good teams, but it's not like Philadelphia's beat any really good teams. They've won convincingly, like such as the Giants, the Bengals, but two games like Cleveland, they didn't win convincingly, and Jacksonville, they didn't win too convincingly. I mean, they look great on offense, but they kind of let the Jaguars kind of back in that game with some
Right.
late fourth quarter heroics by Jacksonville. But yeah, it'd be interesting with the Eagles, see how their season plays out. But I am a Sirianni hater. He sucks. Or maybe, yeah, run him out of town. I would like that. And that'll lead us to our last game. Oh, wait, no, two more. The Detroit Lions take a big old bite of that wheel of cheese, beat them 24-14. Huge win for the Lions. This was a win that they desperately so needed and absolutely turning the tide and making maybe Green Bay the little brother in that division for them now.
Yep, there you go. And again, this is a huge win for Detroit, interdivision, take first place. Again, to your point, biting the wheel of cheese. I think that they really shoved it to them too. Again, the fact that it's raining, the fact that it's in Lambeau, the fact that you won by double digits. Again,
Huge.
you really heel stomped them a little bit. This is going to be a Detroit Lions team where I still think that they have the opportunity to be streaky, and people should definitely be a little bit on, not the biggest of sold out. Oh my God, this is our Super Bowl champion right here, right? I don't think we need that yet, but I do think that they are very scary, and I think that they could easily be a team that you see them start to put it together for, really consistent team, playing those top level teams and doing it week in, week out.
What, the
This was one.
Lions?
No, no, no. Listen, I'm saying this is now probably what the third big
They've
win that
been
they've
doing it
had.
kind of.
That's what I'm saying. This is like the third big win that they've had, right? Like, I don't think we're right at that point where it's like they could be. I'm not sold on them being our Super Bowl champion, big winning team right now. You know what
I'm
I
kind of
mean? But
sold, Jake. I'm kind of sold on it.
yeah, I don't know. I still think that they're deep for again this game specifically. I think this was a huge morale win because especially this was their first outdoor game of the year, which I think
Yeah, that's a
you
fair
do have to
point.
you got to take a ton of stock into. But there's a lot of games to be had that still happen, especially on the road and especially in this division. So I think that Lions probably end up winning the division, no doubt. I don't think that you can sell me as that they are winning the Super Bowl right here, right now, even though they look great on paper. I just think that there's more football to be played.
Well, everybody's ready to count them out on their defense and that Aiden Hutchinson's out for the season.
Right.
But that defense, I mean, they stopped a really good Green Bay offense and Jordan Love threw a pick six. They really stifled them and they showed what they could do even without their team leader. And I think they're going to carry that momentum on for the rest of the season and be an absolute juggernaut. That's
All
just
right.
my
Well, I think that the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl. So you can take the Lions to the Super Bowl and I'll take the Ravens and we'll just be both. And how about we're both wrong? How about that?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I mean, I
right.
was gonna say it could be your Ravens, so Detroit Lions Super Bowl. I would be fine with
True.
that.
Hmm.
And then we move on to did this game finish? No, it didn't. Okay, so the Los Angeles Rams are currently in Seattle. It's tied 20 all during the time of taping. Um, did you watch any of this game? I heard a lot of Jackson Smith but Jigba going
Dude.
off in this game.
Yeah, dude. I saw a lot of that. Did you see that Puka got ejected for throwing a punch?
Are you kidding me? That's why he's not scoring point.
Yeah.
My leg.
Yeah. Darkness. But again, yeah, Puka got ejected for throwing a punch. And it was definitely a responsive type piece. It was on, I believe, an interception that again, Puka just got shoved and then he responded with that and immediately got ejected. And that was early in the game. So again, tough beat for the Rams. But I think the cool part about the Rams, and I was kind of talking about it earlier with some teams, they seem like one of those teams that's built to have six running backs, five wide receivers, whatever. Like any guy can step up and they're going to be good. Like again, the Rams today, Demarcus Robinson
Yeah,
comes up,
he's been
catches a
showing up.
touchdown, what seems like for the 15th week in a row at this point, right? And he's just able to step into that role for, whether it's Cup when he's hurt, Puka when he's ejected or hurt, right? Whatever the situation may be. So again, you've got guys like Tutu Atwell who are speed demons that really kind of shake up any kind of defense that sees it. Kyron Williams has been a dog. I live taping. I'm not giving you a live projection, but I do think that Rams are the better team when it comes to Rams versus Seahawks.
I mean, Geno's thrown two interceptions, but or excuse me, three interceptions. Sorry, but yeah, I don't know. I
And
mean,
this
the
would be a huge comeback win for the Rams if they end up pulling it
enormous win
off.
because guess what they have to play? They have to play the Dolphins. Well, maybe that's not. I mean, they're playing a down Dolphins team, and then they have to go to New England play them. So that could be two, three. They could win five in a row potentially if they win this game. So who
Big.
knows? Um, And that'll lead us to our last two games. We have the Sunday night football game, Vikings Colts. Elite Joe Flacco strolls into Minnesota. I'm gonna keep saying it because he is elite. He's always been elite to me. What do you think about this game? What are your projections? Spreads at 6, favoring Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think that this is probably going to be a game where you see the over. I think that Joe Flacco knows how to run that offense. I don't know why he knows how to run that offense, but he does. And then when it comes to this Vikings offense, I just don't think the Colts defense is legit enough to be able to stop them. I don't know what the over is, but I will tell you that
47 and a half.
Yeah, 47 and a half. I'll take that. I think that you probably see it closer to around like 52 points. It's going to be a kind of a dogfight in some regard, but, or I'm sorry, I don't mean that. And I think it's going to be 52 points and that it's going to be a dogfight to get to the over a little bit. Maybe you see it towards the later part of the game. When it comes to the actual game, I think that Minnesota is going to train roll. I don't know why I do, but I think that they should win by at least a touchdown, if not double digits.
This needs to be a get right game for the Minnesota defense because they have played very well, but they have played very poorly in the past two games against the Lions and the Rams. So if this was a game to get right, they need to, especially, Joe Flacco's very good, but he's not, I don't see him putting up three touchdowns, no interceptions. It might be a 1-1 game as far as stats wise for him, but I think Minnesota should roll. Um, I
And
don't
Minnesota
know.
is also going to be bringing back TJ Hawkinson this week, which I know is really
Yep.
big for not only fantasy
Big
owners, but
note.
obviously for Minnesota overall. So I'm not going to
Well,
say that I'm going to be big on him into this game, but I might be big on him going into this game.
if I had it at this moment in time, give me the Minnesota Vikings spread and the under in this game. That's just me personally.
Okay, well, I'll take the Vikings spread and the over. So there we go.
All right, house divided on points. And
Hmm.
that'll bring us to Monday Night Football. This Buccaneers stroll into Kansas City, take on the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 9-point favorite, and the line is at 45 and a half for over under.
Man, I think it's going to be a gross game. I don't know what that even means as I'm saying it. I think my only lock of the game is maybe Patrick Mahomes over 2.5 passing touchdowns.
This Tampa Bay defense is unfortunately stripped of any good talent, and they've played very poorly. They're on losing two games in a row against the Ravens and Falcons. If How about Patrick Mahomes not throwing interceptions? He's thrown an interception every single game this season. That's so unlike him.
Yeah, tough.
Now, here's something I want to bring up, not any relevant to the game. If this Chiefs team had to play any prior Chiefs teams of the past like 6 years, how well do you think they would fare? Because I think that any the Chiefs teams of the past would destroy this current Chiefs team, if I
That's
had to
actually
say.
that's pretty funny. I think that that's when you start really looking into like the psyche of the players, like when they're there in that time and whatnot. But to your point, I do think that there have been Chiefs teams that are better than the ones that we're seeing right now, and they're somehow just
And
continuing
they're
to run the
7 and
gambit,
0.
and they're
I
continuing
don't
to run
get
the
it.
gambit. Yeah, no, man, I'm with you. That's why I think that Patrick Mahomes might just pick apart this defense. I also think that you might see the over. So as I'm saying this, 9 points does scare me, but this Chiefs team is uh, they're gonna Chiefs. Give me Chiefs in the over.
And
Just be I'm riding both. I'm riding both. What's the over on that game?
it's 45 and a half.
Yeah, I like that too.
And for like an NFL defense, they're averaging probably about like maybe 18 to 20 points a game as far as the defense letting up points. So the defense is pretty good. I don't know how Baker fares.
Baker somehow figures it out, man. And again, they've got a stick and glue team right now
He
too
just
with
has
Mike
nobody to
Evans and
throw to.
Godwin
There's just
out, right?
nobody.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that Chiefs win on all three sides of the ball in this game. That's why I'm taking the spread of the over.
I don't want to take the Chiefs spread, but I think yeah, Chiefs spread in the over. Who knows?
Let's go. Way to ride.
High five, Jake.
I love
And
it.
that'll wrap up the NFL, and we move on to current events, but it'll be a current event for the podium for our first ever champion on the show as far as host. Jake, let it out. Let's hear it. How do you feel
Thank
about the
you.
Dodgers winning the World Series?
Elated. I think it's the only way really to describe it, right? I mean, obviously this was the storybook kind of ending to the series that I think everybody wanted, right? Again, everything in between. Now I think to Yankees fans, you can just go fifth inning, fifth inning, fifth inning. Like and they'll just know, like they realize that like they got. And at the end of the day, as a Dodger fan, I think that the biggest thing is we shut up all the people that were talking about the Mickey Mouse Championship. This is how you get it done. And I think that again, there's probably even some credit to saying that the 2021 is as legit, if not more legit, than the one that we just won. But
Yeah.
playing against the Yankees and watching the Yankees absolutely crumble, chef's kiss. It was great for baseball. Viewers are up. Everybody loves it. I want to see the Dodgers back there again, and I want to see them in many more of them to come.
I mean, I can't say so. I was surprised if I didn't see the Dodgers again in the World Series next year. But as far as like Dodgers teams, I mean, finally winning a World Series, I mean, it was a Mickey Mouse ring, 60 games for baseball.
But
But
but again, we got to talk about the COVID situation of it all. There's no fans when it comes to all the postseason gambit pieces of it, and that's where a lot of teams were losing big upset games just because of teams being able to find their streak. So it was a different time in baseball a whole a whole 4 years ago, right?
no,
But
but
to your point, they shoved it and they got it done.
yeah, Freddie Freeman, absolutely insane run. He had postseason Freddie, October Freddie, November Freddie, whatever you want to call it. Wait, did they go to November? No, they didn't.
The one
No,
before Halloween.
excuse me, October Freddie. But I will say, I'm sure baseball fans know about John Boy and him being a big Yankees fan, but he did an absolutely incredible breakdown of that fifth inning and how the Yankees absolutely just crumbled. Um, it was pretty cool with the Aaron Judge error where he missed that catch for the out. He did an in-depth breakout of him looking at the runner. I think Kike was in the middle between first and second. He was catching the ball, and Aaron was looking at him to then go to obviously make the play if he can throw it back to first to get an out. But then obviously drops it because he has his eye off the ball. I just thought that was
Right.
so in depth as far as a breakdown. And then yeah, Garrett Cole getting no help, and then having Jazz Chisholm play third, and then Anthony Volpe have that bounce ball into the dirt to then have all runners safe on on each base, and then Oscar Hernandez absolutely bouncing a ball off the warning track, and then Dodgers go on from there.
We love it. We love it. Q, we love LA by Randy Newman. Drew, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit
I
it.
love LA.
We love
Um,
it.
But no, if I were you, you have to buy bobbleheads, you have to buy shirts, get the hats, Jake, get the official.
Oh yeah.
Your wallet might hurt, but it'll be worth it.
Oh yeah. I'm buying a few pieces of gear.
You have to. As far as personal World Series championship team for the Nationals that I'm surprised I ever experienced. Um, but no, yep, that was any more Dodgers takes you want to get off your chest?
No, I mean honestly, it was great to just see the whole celebration happen. I mean, obviously in 2020, I was able to pop champagne at my house, and I had a great time celebrating, right? But being able to see everything go
Did you
down for,
actually pop champagne?
yeah, for 2020, hell yeah, I did. What are you
Oh,
talking
I
about?
thought you meant for like this year.
Oh, no, 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 not for 2024. I was sitting here and that was more of like a fist bump, like, hell yeah, we did it type thing. And maybe it should have been more than that. I don't know why, but
Probably should have switched it,
yeah,
Mr.
probably now that I'm thinking about it. But frankly, I think the coolest part was just being able to see LA celebrated about it, man. And they got the whole parade. And I don't know if you saw the meme about it, but it was showing
Oh
the
no,
Dodgers were,
I got memes to go
yeah,
about the
okay, all
Dodgers,
right.
but
We'll jump in later.
yeah, we'll jump in later. But no, congratulations, you deserve it. LA
Thank
deserves it.
you.
I don't like LA as a baseball team, but they is very well deserved, and I was rooting for them to beat the miserable Yankees and their miserable fans, and hope you miserable.
We beat the Yankees.
The Yankees lose.
The Yankees lose.
And then I just want to touch on, I won't touch on this one, but some baseball opt out or club options or player options that I want to get out for as far as free agents. Sean Manaea, Mets has opted out. We had Ha-Sung Kim of the Padres opt out. Jock Peterson, your favorite 2020 World Series Dodger champion, opts out from the D-backs. The New York Yankees decline the club option for Anthony Rizzo. Blake Snell also leaves the Giants to go declare free agency. So some big names to touch on. But that'll wrap up current events. We go into bench or play. Who are we benching? Who are we playing this week? And I have a bench. I'm benching Dave Roberts making that ass drop on Ice Cube. I was so
So
cringy.
good.
I mean, he was probably hammered, and I can understand that. But Ice Cube was like, "Yo, get the fuck away from me!" Like during that.
So good. Let him
Um,
be.
And then double bench. I have a double bench.
Uh-oh.
Clayton Kershaw needs to put a shirt on because he looks like a bag of milk with his body. I don't know what happened.
Hey, he hasn't been playing the whole offseason. He's been letting it go, and he's a
He
champion. I, lo-
clearly,
I love it.
he's probably been hanging out the taco trucks and having too many Dodger dogs during games. Clearly.
Sounds delicious. Oh my God.
And then triple bench, first ever triple bench here on the show. The Dodgers parade gets stuck and has to wait for LA traffic to keep moving.
Hell yeah. There you go.
I was
Way to
just
close the loop on that.
that those aren't any mean benches. Those aren't serious. Those are just mean benches. But I just thought it was so typical for like, oh, they're stuck. They have to stuck in traffic. They're stuck on that. I don't know what that hill was, but they were stuck
Leading
on.
in.
But that's all I had, Jake.
Well, in my world, I will be benching one of your contract opt-out mentions that you didn't have, and that would be Garrett Cole.
Yeah,
And
that's a
again,
huge one.
yep. And I just think for all Dodgers fans, can we just get a hell yeah? Because again, it is just an absolute rattle him moment. Like I saw some insane stats about him in the postseason where it was like, again, he's leading in career postseason ERA. And it's like these are some weird numbers where he had 5 unearned runs in that fifth inning, right? So all of these runs don't count towards him. And my biggest thing is that Garrett Cole, pressure makes diamonds unless you have kidney stones, brother. And that's one of those things where, again, you're just kind of on your way towards the beat. And I'm in a position where I think that Garrett Cole obviously does not find himself in New York. He's going to find himself in some contending leading situation. I don't know exactly what that means. We'll say that the Dodgers did recruit him at one point, and it would be pretty villainous for him to do that. But what I think is even more villainous, Drew, where does Juan Soto go now?
Oh God, this guy. I don't
Because
know.
if Cole is gone and you're
The
not bringing back
Dodgers,
Rizzo,
you
well,
guys have more money. Does Magic
well,
Johnson want to empty out his wallet?
but it easily could be that. But you know what I'm thinking, and I'm not actually putting a ton of stock into this, but I just really want to see it just because of how petty Boston was with sending the Patriots plane to fly the Dodgers from New York back to LA.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I think Soto to the Red Sox, and that would be sick if they did it because they have absolutely shelled out all of their talent, and they've been waiting for a moment to be able to get some huge mega star, and they've been in the talks for the last couple of years about getting some big guy. I don't know why he would do it besides just to like poke the bear and make a bag, but
I don't know. That Fenway group, owner group from Boston has just been so bad. So I don't know if they trip over themselves in some sort of manner to not
maybe
sign him. I don't know, but God, where would he go? I mean, it has to be a major market,
yeah.
right? So what, Boston? I don't think Chicago. Uh, the Mets. I would.
It's all about the Mets. No, it's never about the Mets.
No, I don't think Steve Cohen shows out the money. I don't know. I honestly don't have an answer.
Yeah, that's honestly my biggest piece is I think it might be Boston. And again, that would just be kind of like a little bit of jab just for funsies. But overall, I think that it's huge in the sense that he opts out because again, it just shows that Yankees in New York, it's a tough environment to play in and they've got some high standards. And when you don't show up for it, you're probably feeling a lot of the pressure. And you already heard my bit on pressure. So my now play is I'm going to be talking about Oral Hershiser, or I'm sorry, Walker Buehler wearing Oral Hershiser's 1988 World Series jersey during the parade. I love when players do that. I love when they bring back the homage of either like a past championship or like city culture, player culture, just something in that regard. Again, these were the 1988 Dodgers road jerseys where it has the red and white
They look
trim on
good.
it. And frankly, I realized that I probably should have put that as my jersey recommendation or when we did the
Mm,
jersey ranking. That one should have been my version of the Dodger one, not just like the OG ones, because those ones are sweet. And I completely had forgot about them. But again, my play, Walker Bueller, keep styling it up, my friend. Way to
to
go.
to throw more salt on the wounds of Yankee fans, it's similar to David Wells when he wore Babe Ruth's hat from 1934 during a baseball game, and even and obviously the baseball players like, oh, you can't do that! Oh my God, why would you ever do that?
Right.
And then it became even worth more money after that.
Exactly.
So I thought that was funny to bring up as well. But that'll wrap up our venture play, and we go on to worst best tweet. Let's get into it. Michael Thomas, former, is he still on the team?
I don't even know, man, but all I know is he went to my high school, so that was sick.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that
Shout
either.
out Taft High School.
But he absolutely just ripped on Derek Carr. I'll go the tweet by tweet. Derek Carr for you. Derek Carr for you. I've been told y'all shit sad. Next tweet. Dude scary and panic and just throw the ball. Get him the F out of here. He's so ass. And then that year, his buddy went first team All Pro in 2022. I think he's referring to Devontae Adams, if I had to assume. He needed
Probably
180 targets just to catch 100 passes. He ass on my granny.
on my granny.
What? I just
Oh man.
and obviously he's referring to the hospital pass he threw to Chris Olave because he got absolutely shellacked in the
Yeah.
head.
Seems like everything is going to be all right with Olave, but that was a scary hit and a scary throw. And again, I don't know how much more shit I can talk about the Saints, but to your point, that Michael Thomas has always been a loud dude when it comes to those types of pieces, and I'm very happy to see it.
I mean that dude had like what one good year with Drew Brees and then just kind of got injured and just never
No,
re
he had a
yeah.
decent prime of a handful of years.
He had like one or two seasons and that was it.
Don't make me pull up the
Dude,
numbers.
pull it up. I don't care. Pull it up right now. He had one elite season, and then after that, he got injured. I think he had plantar fasciitis, if I had to assume. I don't
Yeah,
remember, but
definitely had some foot and ankle and leg and everything issues. Here, let's pull it up.
okay, I have his stats.
You do? Okay.
Okay, fine. I was a little too mean. He had 1,100 touchdown rookie year, 1,200 touchdowns. Then he had 1,400 touchdowns,
Yeah.
17 touchdowns, and then after that, it was
Opened his
so.
career with 4,000 receiving yard seasons.
And then what?
Hey, I can't help it after that. I'm just talking about the first four.
That's
That's
fair. That's
that's
fair.
four.
Okay, I was a little too mean. I'll hand up, hand up. I
Yeah.
was wrong.
And
Uh,
one stat now that I'm just looking at his Pro Football Focus, apparently he only missed one game in those first four seasons. And since then, I mean, he's played a collective of 20 games over what is now four not on a roster this
yeah,
season. So really 3 seasons, sad.
sad, but yeah, he torched Derek Carr. And then to throw some salt on your wounds, Jerry Jones called the Cowboys 3-4 start a rougher go than I anticipated after earlier this season, saying he was all in. But to be fair, I mean that was you guys were decimated with injuries, so
Yeah. Tough beat.
sorry
Hate to
about
see
it.
it. Hate to
And
see it.
then I had one last one where the this big fat loser Redskins fan talking smack the Giants
I
fan.
saw
Rightfully
that.
so. Shout out, respect to you fighting in the trenches out there. And then proceeds to go back into the seat and then tumble his fat ass down like 3 rows of bleachers. And I mean, he was gonna die. I mean, he was on like the level 400. He could have fell over that railing and like that would have been it.
Easily could have been
And they could
Dunzo.
have literally took out like 5 more people because he was a 300 pounder in a
Yeah,
art in an Art
that's a
Monk jersey, which is even better. Like I just thought it was hilarious.
that's a wrecking ball coming down, friend.
Oh yeah. I'm what if he was at FedEx Field or Northwest Bank, wherever the hell our stadium's called now. Yeah, he definitely would have fell over the railing if he was in
Oh yeah.
that in our dump in Maryland. But yeah, that's all I have for worst best tweet. What did you have, Jake?
I love it. All right. Well, on my side, I saw a great tweet that was talking about how at the middle school tables at lunch, if sports gambling was allowed when we were kids, what kind of crazy bets and parlays we would concoct. And the one note that immediately came to my brain when I saw that table is I would have gotten absolutely cooked in 2011 betting on Matt Kemp versus Ryan Braun if I could have in the MVP race. I remember me and my friends like screaming at each other, being like, "How does he not win the award? Like he has, like it's this number, this number, this number, this number." But again, I don't know. It's just again that was kind of my favorite. I saw that and I was just thinking about all the moments in like middle school and high school before we could bet. Like, oh, what would I have gotten cooked on? And that was the
Oh
first
yeah.
one that came to mind there. And then the other big kind of best of the internet that I saw was a TikTok where it shows Walker Bueller hugging his wife, like while he's on stage, like celebrating the World Series, and then all of a sudden Drew called him a bag of milk. I call him my goat. That's why I've got his jersey right over here. But Clayton Kershaw comes out sleeveless, coming out of the corner, and Walker Bueller runs into his arms, and it's just absolutely great. It's hugging your wife versus hugging your bros. There's nothing like it. Drew, cue "We Love LA" by Randy Newman again.
I would actually cue it unless we probably get copyright
Right?
strike
Yeah.
because
We love LA.
we might even get copyright strike for you singing it because YouTube. Please, right? Um. Oh, actually, I have one more worst best tweet, but it was an
What you
Instagram
got?
comment. It was so funny for the Ohio State game and like James Franklin. Big Cat posted James Franklin after another Ohio loss, and then a guy commented, "James Franklin is the Ryan Day of Nick Saban."
It's just mean.
It's so funny. Yes. I'm happy I remember that. But that'll wrap up worst or best tweet, and that'll bring us to our Bleacher rankings. Top five underdog teams to make the March Madness tournament. So let's go tit for tat. I'll go first with five. Like we mentioned earlier last week, if you haven't watched it, go watch it right now. Go watch our preview. Murray State Racers. I believe Murray State will make the tournament. I think they're a deep team in the Missouri Valley. I don't think any other team's going to be as competitive as them. They have some good returning players, and I think they'll make the dance.
I like it. I like it, Drew. Well, who I think's making the tournament? Give me University of Cincinnati, a team that plays on both sides of the ball well.
Oh no, Cincinnati.
Yep. Give me Cincinnati, baby. It's gross. It's grimy. Give me them at my 5 spot.
Yeah, they are indeed gross and grimy. That's for damn sure, right? I'll go for my number four. Give me UC Santa Barbara. They have some good teams. Damn it. I forgot all my fucking notes. Uh, Obviously, last year they weren't a very good defensive team, and they did lose their AJ Mitchell 20 points per game. But I think this will be the year they could make a sneaky run. They have some good players coming in. They have Bryce Howard, Zion Zensley, David Pickles, senior from Seattle, Washington, on that team too.
Mm.
So for the memes, Santa Barbara at four to make the tournament.
I like it. Hey, and at my 4, give me Pitt. And not only are they making the tournament, I'm going to have them going into the round of the 32. They're going to survive their first game that they play. And again, it's because they're a big KenPom team, and they're going to be one of those teams that we follow throughout the year. But they're great offensive, they're great defensive. University of Pittsburgh, show it to us on the basketball court because you damn didn't show us on the football field this weekend.
Don't hate too much of my Pittsburgh Panthers that much for football. Come on, hey, that's a school that could be both tournament
I
and
know, but
football.
that this weekend hurt.
I know that was pretty sad. That'll bring me to my number three. Give me UC Irvine. So pairing with Santa Barbara, give me UC Irvine. I'm going all in on that conference. UC Irvine, they could shoot the lights out. I think they're projected to win the conference. So give me UC Irvine.
I'm with it. Hey, and with my 3, I'm going with Indiana, and not just to make the tournament, not just to make it through the first weekend, brother. They're going to the second weekend. We're going to the Sweet 16. Indiana, candy stripe pants. Show me how it's done. They got a lot of new talent that's coming in. Omar Ballo from our Arizona is going to be who's leading the forefront. Give me Indiana in my 3 spot.
Oh yeah. Well, Jake, I'm gonna have to get right back at you and say Indiana again. Give me Indiana as my number two. Number two, Indiana. They did lose some decent players. Khalil Ware went to Oregon, but obviously Omar Ballo, leader of men. They did get that guy from Washington State. So they're gonna have a lot of scoring ability as well as good defense. I think they make a big push in the Big Ten and give me Indiana at number two.
Easy money. Well, at number 2, I'm going to be rocking and rolling with Creighton, and Creighton to make the Sweet
Whoa.
16. Creighton's going to be elite, man. And I think that they're going to be a team where you've got Ryan Kalkbrenner, and he's going to be a person where, at the end of the day, he's going to be a player that is hopefully going for his 4th Defensive Player of the Year, which would be the first time that's ever done, and is competing with Tim Duncan in what is going to be probably a stat watch of all of his blocks, rebounds, and points at the end of the year. So, again, watch out.
Really? I didn't know that. He's going up with
Mhm.
Timmy D, Mr. Fundamentals.
When it comes to the only players in college basketball I don't forget the exact numbers, but I want to say it's a certain amount of points, rebounds, and blocks. I just forget exactly what those numbers are at the moment. But again, Creighton's going to be elite. give it to me at my Sweet 16. I'm sorry, at my number two.
I like it. I like it. Well, Creighton Blue Jays, they're gonna have to take on my number one, the Georgetown Hoyas. The Georgetown Hoyas are going to be back. If this was the year, it's this year. We have damn it, what was his name? The coach from Providence.
Ed
You
Cooley.
Yeah, Ed Cooley's has a whole new team, got rid of about five guys from last year, brings in some elite good players. Jaden Fort, Seal Duef, that I can't even pronounce it. Drew McKenna, Mason Moses. They brought in 11 new players. Georgetown's gonna make a big run. If this is the year, it's gonna be this year. Georgetown is my number one.
Bing bong. And at my number one, give me Arkansas, baby. And Arkansas is going to be running in the deep. We're going to be rolling in the deep. Cue Adele, baby, because at the end of the day, we're taking them to make it deep into the dance. I'm saying Sweet 16, but don't be shocked if they make it Elite Eight or deeper. Calipari knows how to coach teams. This is going to be a very hard division. And again, or a very hard conference. And I think that at the end of the day, Arkansas is going to put themselves in a position to be on both sides of the ball, whether that be on the offensive side of the ball and being a top 10 offense in the country or being someone that can absolutely shut the door on teams. Arkansas, my number one. Let's ride.
I feel I'm pretty confident about both of our list. And then cue to like 5 months later, it was just like none of them made the tournament with the fucking crap.
Right. Single tier.
But no, I like both our lists. Indiana, we're big and hot on,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then Creighton. I think Creighton's always good, and Kalbrenner's almost like Mr. Fundamentals. The post Mamba, he's always bumping and grinding in the post.
Post Mamba. I love it.
But that'll wrap up the top five. And any closing thoughts, Jake, before we end the show?
Man, I mean, we're in for a fun November. Obviously, we've got a ton of stuff that's going on. College basketball kicks off tomorrow. I really can't believe it.
Yeah.
So I am excited for that, and I think that anybody that's got certain games that they want us to be watching in on or games that they want us to talk more about, please throw it out in the comments. College basketball is definitely, I think, of all of our things, but if we're talking about some grimy Tuesday night basketball games, we can definitely chop on in. And again, I think that we're going to be in for some fun conference rankings here when it comes to 2-3 weeks down the line, man. It's we're about to go bowling. Can you believe that?
I honestly can't. I really can't believe it. It's come by football season always comes by so quick, but you got obviously forward look for as far as basketball. But yeah, I'm just taking a quick look at some of the basketball games. Not too anything. Obviously, Duke plays, Gonzaga plays. I think Kansas plays too. Tennessee plays. Yep, Kansas plays. Your boys at Iowa State play. Texas versus Ohio State at 10 o'clock at night.
I'll be watching.
Let's see if this Ohio State team has the balls to beat a ranked team. Huh, Matt? If you're listening, he's probably not listening.
Yeah, we'll see.
Bastard. Oh, 11:30 at night. Baylor versus Gonzaga. Are you kidding me?
I'll be watching.
I don't know if dude, there's no way I stay up that late. Well, actually, I could stay up that late.
Hey,
I don't
listen,
know.
that's the best part about college basketball, though, is that they're playing at crazy times during the day. They're playing at
Dude,
9 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
Gonzaga's a
It's
favorite.
so good. It's so good.
They're
Gonzaga's not bad.
I think Baylor's better.
I know you're high on Baylor. I know that. But again,
Yeah,
maybe, but this could also be a game where, the book is kind of sharp on, because it's at Gonzaga, right?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it's home team favorite for sure. And then again, I guarantee you Gonzaga has got a decent amount of returners.
Yes,
So they're probably looking into more of like the senior ability and whatnot. But listen, man, college basketball is back. It's my favorite time of the year. We're starting to get into Thanksgiving time, and Saints are still a turkey. Oh, get ready. Get ready,
Yeah.
brother. We're almost at Thanksgiving.
Yep. If there's any time to bet big spreads in college basketball, now's the time because some will hit. They always do hit. But that'll wrap up the show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment anything that you saw on the show that you want to get off your chest, whether good or bad. I'll reply to them. Go to our Spotify, follow us 5 stars, TikTok, follow, like. Am I forgetting anything? Oh, follow us on Twitter, x.com, whatever you want to call it. And that'll do it for this episode of Pros of the Future Podcast.
Later, bros.